And so now we can move on to the third man who was in Luke chapter 9. And basically with him, he wanted to go back and say farewell to his family. And he wanted to go and take care of stuff before he wanted to follow God. And the lesson there is, again, that Jesus must be their number one priority. And so God was doing that, was showing me throughout this whole process that he needs to be number one in my life. And there was a paragraph that in my research I also found a quotation by John Stott, and he was writing on the verses in Luke chapter 9. And this paragraph was brilliant. When I heard it, when I read it, I knew for a fact that God was speaking to me. And the quotation from John Stott on these verses says this: "The Christian landscape is strewn with the wreckage of derelict, half-built towers, the ruins of those who began to build and were unable to finish. For thousands of people still ignore Christ's warning and undertake to follow him without first pausing to reflect on the cost of doing so. The result is the great scandal of Christendom today, so-called nominal Christianity. In countries to which Christian civilization has spread, large numbers of people have covered themselves with a decent but thin veneer of Christianity. They have allowed themselves to become somewhat involved, enough to be respectable, but not enough to be uncomfortable. Their religion is a great soft cushion. It protects them from the hard unpleasantness of life, while changing its place and shape to suit their conveniences. No wonder the cynics speak of hypocrites in the church and dismiss religion as escapism." Basically, this quote is saying we need to see it through to the finish. The part that actually got to me was, the Christian landscape is strewn with the wreckage of derelict, half-built towers, the ruins of those who began to build but were unable to finish. And so that paragraph by John Stott really stuck out to me. The very first sentence about the half-built derelict towers. Because we as Christians sometimes, we start something and we don't finish it. Like even in this point in my experience, persons were asking, whether I'm going to the exam or not. And I was being so, I was like, I don't know, I really can't tell you. And in essence, that was me having built that tower, letting them know what my beliefs were, and then to fall back on them was to have a half-built tower. And that would have been such a horrible witness to all those people in my class, to all those people who knew about my beliefs and my religion, etc. And so when I read that part about those half-built towers, I found that to become a disciple of Jesus, that we need to see it through to the finish. We need to see everything through the finish. And that became my mantra for a good while. I was like, you need to see this through to the finish. Do not even start and decide you're following Jesus and then halfway decide, God, this isn't for me. But you must see it through to the finish. And so the question in the form of the topic of my presentation was hurled back at me. What if you gave Christ everything? And that's a really, really important question. What if we gave Christ everything? He is to be our everything, and we are supposed to wholly rely on him. And so today I encourage you to indeed put all your cares upon him. Indeed, give him all of you so that he can use you. Indeed, be that vessel which is empty, that needs breaking, that needs melting, that needs molding, so that it can be a vessel fit for the use in the service of Christ. What if you gave Christ everything? Become a disciple today.